Welcome to Chapter 10 of Class 7 Science, Life Processes in Plants. In this fascinating chapter, we'll explore how plants, unlike animals, make their own food and carry out essential life processes. We begin with a fundamental question. Animals eat food to grow, but what about plants? Have you ever seen plants eating like animals do? Plants show amazing growth changes. New leaves emerge, height increases, stems thicken, but they don't consume food like animals. Instead, they have a magical process called photosynthesis where they create their own food. We'll investigate what plants need to grow through hands-on experiments, discover how leaves act as food factories, learn about plant transport systems, and find out if plants breathe like we do. Get ready for an exciting journey into the secret life of plants. Let's begin our exploration with Activity 10.1, testing what plants really need to grow. We set up 3 pots with similar saplings under different conditions. Pot A gets both sunlight and water, the perfect combination. Pot B gets sunlight but no water. Pot C gets water but is kept in complete darkness. After 2 weeks of observation, we discover something crucial. Plants need both sunlight and water for healthy growth. Pot A shows excellent growth with increased height, more leaves, and healthy green color. Pot B, without water, shows poor growth or may even die despite having sunlight. Pot C, kept in darkness, grows weak and pale with limited leaf production. This experiment clearly demonstrates that sunlight and water are both essential for plant growth. But this is just the beginning. Ancient Indian texts like Vrikshayurveda recognized these requirements centuries ago, stating, "Trees do not produce fruits and flowers merely because they are planted." They documented practical knowledge about soil preparation, organic manures, and agricultural practices that align with our modern scientific understanding. Now let's investigate the big question: how do plants actually get their food? Unlike animals that eat plants or other animals, plants make their own food through an incredible process called photosynthesis. The main sites for this food production are the leaves, which are perfectly designed as food factories. Leaves are broad and flat to capture maximum sunlight, and they're green because of a pigment called chlorophyll that efficiently captures sunlight energy. In Activity 10.2, we test if leaves really contain stored food in the form of starch. We boil a leaf to soften it, then boil it in alcohol to remove the green chlorophyll, making the leaf colorless. When we add iodine solution, the leaf turns blue-black, proving starch is present. This is because iodine reacts with starch to produce this characteristic color. But why do we need to remove the chlorophyll first? So we can clearly see the color change without the green pigment masking it. A curious student named Bhaskar wondered if sunlight helps in starch production. He tested leaves from plants in sunlight versus darkness and found that only leaves from sunlight-exposed plants showed starch presence. This proves that chlorophyll plus sunlight equals starch production. We've discovered plants need water, sunlight, and chlorophyll for food production. But there's one more essential ingredient: air. Specifically, plants need carbon dioxide from the air. In Activity 10.4, we prove this using a clever experiment. We take a destarched plant kept in dark for 2 to 3 days to use up stored starch, and place half a leaf in a bottle containing caustic soda, which absorbs carbon dioxide from the air. The other half of the leaf remains outside in normal air. After keeping this setup in sunlight for hours, we test both leaf parts for starch. The result is clear. The leaf part outside the bottle with access to carbon dioxide turns blue-black with iodine, showing starch is present. But the leaf part inside the bottle, deprived of carbon dioxide, shows no starch. This proves carbon dioxide is essential for photosynthesis. Now we have the complete picture. Plants need 4 ingredients for photosynthesis: water from the soil, sunlight for energy, chlorophyll in leaves, and carbon dioxide from air. Remove any one, and photosynthesis stops. Interestingly, even leaves that appear red, violet, or brown due to other pigments still photosynthesize. You can detect starch in them too. We've learned that plants take in water and carbon dioxide during photosynthesis. But did they also release something? Let's investigate with activity 10.5, demonstrated by Barka. She places a water plant in a beaker with an inverted test tube over it. One setup is kept in sunlight, another in darkness. In the sunlight setup, air bubbles emerge and collect in the test tube. But which gas is this? Barka collects the gas and tests it with a glowing matchstick, and it bursts into flames. This happens because oxygen supports combustion. So the gas produced during photosynthesis is oxygen. This gives us the complete photosynthesis story. Plants take in carbon dioxide and water, use sunlight energy, and produce glucose, food, and oxygen. The oxygen released is what we and other animals breathe. But how do gases enter and exit leaves? Through tiny pores called stomata, which we can observe in activity 10.6 by examining leaf peels under a microscope. Indian scientist Rustam Hormusji Dastoor made important contributions to understanding photosynthesis, studying how water amount, temperature, and light color affect this vital process. Now let's explore how plants transport substances around their bodies. Plants need to move water and minerals upward from roots to leaves, and food downward from leaves to all parts. How do they do this without a heart or pumps? Through specialized transport systems. In activity 10.7, we trace water movement using a clever experiment with red ink. We place 2 plants in tumblers, one with plain water, another with red ink added to water. After 24 hours, the plant in red ink shows red color in its stem, leaves, and even flowers. When we cut the stem and examine it, we see red-colored tube-like structures. These are xylem vessels. Xylem transports water and minerals upward from roots to all plant parts, working like natural drinking straws. But plants also need to transport food made in the leaves to other parts. This is done by another set of tubes called phloem, which carries sugars and food throughout the plant. So plants have 2 transportation systems: xylem for water and minerals moving upward, and phloem for food moving to all parts. This efficient system allows plants to nourish every part of their body. Now let's answer a fascinating question. Do plants respire like animals? We know all living beings respire, but plants don't have noses or lungs. In activity 10.8, we prove plants do respire by testing for carbon dioxide production. We place soaked mung seeds in a flask with wet cotton and connect it to test tubes containing lime water. After keeping this in darkness for 24 hours, the lime water turns milky in the connected test tube. Why? Because lime water turns milky when it reacts with carbon dioxide, proving the respiring seeds are producing CO2. The respiration process in plants follows this equation. Glucose plus oxygen produces carbon dioxide plus water plus energy. Plants break down the glucose they make during photosynthesis, using oxygen from air, to release energy for growth and all life processes. All plant parts, green and non-green, carry out respiration continuously. During daytime, photosynthesis produces more oxygen than respiration uses, and uses more carbon dioxide than respiration produces. At night, only respiration occurs, so plants consume oxygen and produce carbon dioxide. This beautiful balance helps maintain atmospheric gases for all living beings. As we conclude this chapter, let's recognize the contributions of remarkable scientists like Kamala Sohoni, a pioneering Indian woman scientist who researched plant respiration and improved the nutritive values of plant foods. We can create amazing projects like bottle gardens, self-sustaining ecosystems where plants maintain perfect gas balance, using CO2 from respiration for photosynthesis and O2 from photosynthesis for respiration. Throughout this chapter, we've discovered that plants are incredible self-sufficient organisms that make their own food through photosynthesis, transport water and nutrients through xylem and phloem systems, respire to release energy, and maintain the gas balance that supports all life on Earth. Remember the ancient wisdom we started with: plants need the right conditions and amazing internal processes to thrive, not just being planted. This knowledge helps us appreciate the vital role plants play in our world and the incredible processes that sustain them.